Alrighty, so today I'm going to be introducing a new Helldivers 2 challenge. I'm calling this the Maze Runner Helldivers 2 Survival Challenge. Let's see here. This is going to be a 3-faction movie-themed survival rule set inspired by the Maze Runner trilogy. So 2 major rules for all 3 factions. That's going to be that all missions begin at the extraction point and follow the rules of the selected faction. Orbital resupply and resupply pack stratagems may only be called or recalled when within the extraction zone radius. This is going to add to that base of operations vibe that Maze Runners gives. You figure they load up before going out, and then once they're out, all they have with them is what they have, unless they return back to their base. Okay, so rules are going to be a little bit different for all 3 factions. I'm going to back out here real quick. Obviously, you have the Terminids, you've got the Illuminate, and then you've got the Automatons, otherwise known as the Bugs, Squids, and Bots. Ideally, you want to pick a city mission or city operation for this gameplay challenge that's going to give more of a Maze Runner vibe to it. Right now, we're going to go to Accord 3, and this is under Terminid control at the moment. For this gameplay video, essentially I'm going to be doing 1 mission out of an operation of 3 of each of the 3 factions. So for this one, I'm going to be doing the Cleanse Infested District. Now, obviously, this gameplay challenge can be applied to any of the mission types. This is something that one of my buddies, Candlehead23, shout out to him, he was helping me come up with the rules and kind of balance this challenge a little bit more prior to rolling it out. So he and I actually ran through some of these missions, including I want to say, what is it? The high value asset one for the Illuminates, and that one I will say that was definitely tough with 2 people on a super hell dive. Especially with the restrictions that I'm about to get into. So, without further ado, for the Terminid, this is going to be based off of the maze trials. This is when the maze runners are in the glade still, or in the maze, if you will, and they're trying to preserve their glade, and then they run out into the maze looking for a way out. Alrighty, so going through the rules real quick, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Some of the additional rules that I have to the Terminids, and I do have additional rules for each of the 3 factions. For the Terminids, that's going to be that weapons picked up from the map may be used. However, the only ammo that is currently within the gun's magazine is able to be used. So you can't pick up other ammo that's lying around or resupply from your resupply pack, anything like that to try to maximize that weapon's ammo. You are only able to use what is left in that weapon when you pick it up. If it doesn't have anything, you're kind of out of luck. If it has something, at least you have something. So especially for Terminids, if you find like a grenade launcher, that's definitely going to be very helpful. Or any sort of like launcher weapon. Alright, so for this, let's see, radar is going to be disabled. So what that means is when you start the mission, similar to in the Maze Runners when they're in the glade, they do have that master map. Essentially, they've memorized it, so I would say do your best to try to memorize the map. However, my buddy Candlehead and I, we both kind of realized very quickly, once you're in the mission, if you respawn or even if you're trying to run from enemies, you very quickly get disoriented, and I think that definitely adds to the realism of this gameplay challenge. So I love it personally. It definitely adds to the difficulty level of this, but it's super fun, and obviously this challenge is kind of the main point is to kind of get the most enjoyment out of the challenge that you can while you're in the mission. So let's see, the third additional rule, that's going to be that primary weapons may only be used to complete objectives. Now, for example, this is going to mean destroying Terminid eggs. They cannot be used to kill any bugs whatsoever. and this kind of adds to the realism for the first Maze Runner movie, where it's not even until the end of the movie that they use some sort of like spear weapon to kind of like push the bugs off or defend themselves. So let's see, as far as the equipment, I'm gonna go here. All right, so for the armor, for the Terminid faction, only light armor is going to be allowed. Now, with that, any passive is going to be allowed whatsoever, as long as you are using light armor. That said, if you bring in, let's see, something with the armor passive, Siege Ready, this increases reload speed of primary weapons by 30%. And increases ammo capacity of all weapons by 20%. Does not affect weapon backpacks. So, excuse me, what that means is essentially, Siri, go away. Go away. Thank you. What that means is this is not really going to benefit somebody that's doing the Maze Runner challenge whatsoever, because you figure, yes, you are going to have a primary weapon, but you're not even allowed to use it to kill any of the enemies. So I personally prefer something with peak physique or a scout passive. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and run this. And then when it comes to primary weapons, the only primary weapons that are allowed for the Terminid faction are going to be these three Liberators. So it's going to be the AR-23 Liberator, AR-23C Liberator Concussive, and then the AR-23A Liberator Carbine. I kind of figured, first, you have to have a primary weapon. Helldivers 2 will not let a person load into a mission without it. So I kind of figured these are the three weapons that, should a Maze Runner have gotten their hands on or made a weapon, it probably would have looked like one of these, something that kind of has a more scavenged vibe to it. So for now, just going to run the AR-23A Liberator Carbine. For the secondary weapons, only melee weapons are going to be allowed. So for this, I would say the Stun Lance, this kind of creates distance between yourself and the enemy, or the Combat Hatchet is also good. It has a very, I would say it's kind of rapid fire, if you will. You can kind of swing it very quickly, whereas the Stun Lance, you can swing it kind of quickly, or I should say stab, but the mobility is going to be kind of less. So for now, I'm going to run the Combat Hatchet. And again, any melee weapon is going to be allowed. As far as the throwables, the only throwables that are going to be allowed for this challenge are the G6 Frag Grenade, the G12 High Explosive, the G10 Incendiary, pardon me, and the K2 Throwing Knife. So, something that Candlehead noticed, he went in with the Throwing Knife. I went in with the Incendiary when we were trying to balance out this gameplay challenge. I found that having some sort of a grenade, especially if you run this solo, is going to be imperative for people that like to complete as many objectives as possible, including the secondary objectives. Normally in Terminids, it'll have, like, say, bug holes. A person is not going to be able to complete those objectives in this gameplay challenge unless they bring in some sort of a grenade or find a grenade launch point or somewhere on the map, some sort of high explosive item, by chance, though, to be able to destroy those holes. So if you run in with other players, I would say generally have somebody that brings in grenades. Like, say, if you run a 4-man, 2 people come in with grenades, 2 people come in with throwing knives. That's personally what I'd recommend. But I will say Candlehead found that the throwing knife, since you can't use a primary weapon firearm, this kind of turns into that. So it creates distance, you can throw it very quickly, and you can do it while you're kind of like walking away or trying to run away. Because the whole point of this challenge is to give the Maze Runner effect, or that kind of setting. And they killed maybe a few of the alien walkers, if you will, or those like spiders. Basically bugs kind of represent those the best. But they only killed a few. So the main point of it was to run from point A to point B and complete their objective. So for now, I'm essentially going to be going in with the G6 Frag Grenade. Otherwise, if I had people, I would most likely take the K2 Throwing Knife. And then when it comes to stratagems, these are the stratagem rules that I have so far. I say so far, but honestly, yeah, this is the gameplay for it. So, stratagems, that's going to be the Eagle Smoke Strike, the Orbital Smoke Strike, Ballistic Shield, and Supply Pack. And then any limited time stratagem granted by the infallible Super Earth for a seasonal/event time frame. So for right now, gonna have the Orbital Smoke Strike, Eagle Smoke Strike, Supply Pack, and then where's that Ballistic Shield Pack? Perfect. Now again, resupplies and the supply pack stratagem, those are only able to be called while you're within the extraction zone radius. So say for instance, when you spawn in, I would recommend dropping everything if you are able to complete an objective and get back to the extraction point. Obviously you won't really have a good idea of where it's at because the blue, I'll say flare, or marker, that's not going to be up until after you've completed all objectives. So if you're able to find it somehow before then, congrats to you, because I will say it's kind of difficult, but you would be able to recall in supplies. Let's see here. As far as the ballistic backpack goes, though, any other stratagems, obviously you're going to be able to call those in whenever necessary. And then as far as the boosters or boosts that are allowed, that's going to be the Hellpod Optimization, Vitality Enhancement, Stamina Enhancement, Muscle Enhancement, and then I don't have it, but the Dead Sprint Enhancement as well. Dead Sprint, essentially, once you're out of your stamina bar, any stamina that you consume afterward, that's actually going to consume your HP instead. And I think that kind of adds to the realism of this Maze Runner challenge. So for now, I'm going to do the stamina enhancement, and we're going to go ahead and start.
Hellpod launch initiated.
Today the light of liberty will grace the skies of this world once more.
Deploying equipment package.
Eagle 1 returning to destroyer for resupply.
Alrighty. So obviously we have enemies around. We're going to try to avoid that. Now something that Candlehead and I kind of figured out with this, the orbital smoke strike, that is able to destroy these infested towers. So obviously you can call down the hell bomb, but I would recommend using something very quickly, especially if you were trying to, and that is a hole, especially if you're trying to destroy it and run away from the enemy. Awesome. Alright, so as you can see, just lost my supply pack. I don't think that was a hole. Maybe it was. But anyway, not able to call that back in.
Enemy tactical asset within threat range. Objective critical stratagem available. Hellbomb request approved. On its way
Perfect.
now.
Hellbomb arm! Clear the area!
Terminid hive structure
And
destroyed.
that one is down, so that is 2 objectives. Now, obviously, you can pick up samples. I'm not really worried about them at the moment. Kind of worried about staying alive. Now, I will be able to call the Ballistic Shield, just because it's not a resupply or supply pack. I figure why not.
Near your position.
Awesome. That's going to be a bug breach. Now with the broadcast towers, get away from me. With the broadcast towers, you can kill them with orbital smoke strikes.
Deploying smoke screen.
Sometimes you will need to run away from the enemy. Again, this kind of goes back into the Maze Runner setting of just trying to come out with your life. I do have the napalm. Now I only have 1 sim left.
Delivering payload. Found something.
That napalm definitely could have been better. That is another thing with this challenge. It's definitely going to encourage players to play a little more smartly, if you will. And to kind of conserve everything that they have.
Attack underway.
And also approach objectives a little more strategically.
Deploying smoke screen.
I'm having a lovely time right now.
Liberty dispensed.
That is down.
Helldiver lost. Sending replacement. Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Joining the fray.
Alright, so we can see the 2 other main objectives over there. Obviously, I can do other secondary objectives for this challenge, but those are optional.
Found something! I'm bleeding out!
Helldiver KIA. Deploying replacement. Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Very cool.
Reporting to the front.
Now, obviously, the Siege Soldiers will definitely help, which is why I think this is a good map, or cities are good maps to do this challenge on. Because especially if you can't use your primary weapon, those are going to help balance it out a little bit.
Enemy tactical asset within range. structure destroyed.
And that one is down.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available.
Keep Liberty.
Enemy tactical asset within threat range.
I would say smokes are probably the most effective to use when trying to
Objective critical
conserve
stratagem available.
stamina. Oh, don't want to do that. Gonna go ahead and call down a Ballistic Shield. Oh, wrong weapon. Hello.
My arm!
Luckily, I did not hit the Shrieker. Nice, we've got another autocannon.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available.
Oh, of course. Okay, that was lucky.
Objective critical stratagem available.
Sweet liberty, my arm!
And we're gonna go ahead and call down another orbital smoke strike. Hopefully that hits it.
Objective critical stratagem.
Thank God.
You're in here once more. The extraction shuttle awaits your request. Can't liberate with this broken arm!
I think I've died more to holes than to actual Terminids in this. There we go, found the extraction point. Alrighty. Now I am within the extraction zone. I'm able to call down whatever necessary as far as supplies goes.
Extraction request confirmed. Shuttle inbound. Blowing smoke screen.
Administering freedom.
ETA T-minus 1 minute 30
And
seconds.
that does not work.
Reinforcement budget running low. Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Gonna try to land on it. Do a little bit of damage.
Ready to liberate!
Oh, I guess I killed it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on where you hit.
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
Nice.
Request
I would say
approved.
probably the biggest
Reinforcements have been
recommendation
launched.
is to keep moving. Because as you can see, I literally am on my last life. And I have 42 seconds left. So calling down stratagems when you're at the extract, that's definitely going to be helpful. Because you can still use those
ETA T-minus 30
to
seconds.
kill things like, say, chargers, bile titans, things like that, or just random bugs if you're able to hit them.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds. Sending down equipment package. ETA T-minus 10 seconds. Clear landing zone.
Eagle 1 armed and ready.
Pelican 1 approaching pickup.
That was cool. Not. Oh, I guess that did work. Heck yeah. Totally meant to do that. That was all in the plan from the beginning. I had that scripted. For sure. Alright, and then from here, as long as the main objectives are done, I know we did a secondary objective, but as long as the main ones are done, you are able to extract.
Today you've got
I think depending on the mission, it'll definitely be a lot easier, like say the infested towers. I think that one's pretty simple as long as you can run around, and if you have enough people, obviously you might have time to call in a hell bomb while you have other people guarding you. But say for instance, if you're trying to do other objectives, it could be a little more difficult. I think nuking the nurseries is probably the most difficult one that we did, just because once you call in the nuke, or at least that stratagem, you do have to stay beside it and kind of guard it a little bit, so probably the more the merrier. If you do that solo, that's definitely going to be a little more of a hellstorm. Then obviously kills, I only got 68 on a super hell dive. That's going to be a lot lower than what people would normally get with using, like, say, primary and secondary weapons as far as guns go.